Hello and welcome to What's Next Wall Street. I'm George Alfredas.
And I'm Dave Mathews, and this podcast is all about stocks, the metaverse, crypto, and the new decentralized financial Web3 world around us, and what that means for trading.
So every week we're here with new information and tips that can help you become a more informed trader. I've got details on the hot new trending products that everybody is talking about, using, and investing in. And today I'm talking celebs, shopping, and stock in that order.
Wait, isn't that the same thing you did last week?
I do it every week, but we digress. Let's keep it moving.
All right, well, I'm going to talk about eSIMs and my trip to Europe twice this summer.
I know, what the heck. We've got Greg Krause, lead instructor at OptionsPlayers.com here with his expert analysis and insight to help you target investment potential. We can also direct you to other instructors at Options Players who can help you come up with a tailored trade plan. The goal here is to provide you with education, information, and tips so that you're not out here playing bingo with your life savings.
Yep, and we want to hear those bingo numbers from you. So email us at www.optionsplayers.com or hit us up on social media at What's Next Wall Street with your questions and comments about the show. Now, you can watch this episode on the Options Players YouTube channel if you want to see our pretty faces. Happy birthday, by the way, Georgia.
Thank you.
39 again.
I know.
And you can listen to the podcast and hear our sultry voices on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your goddamn podcasts.
Whether you're listening to the podcast or watching us on YouTube, make sure you subscribe, hit the alert button so that you know always what's next on Wall Street, and be sure to rate our podcast. We need you to do that.
5 stars.
Yep.
So Boeing is agreeing to pay $200 million in fines for misleading the public about the safety of a plane following 2 recent fatal crashes. The SEC, or Securities and Exchange Commission, alleges that after a Lion Air 737 MAX crashed and killed nearly 200 people in 2018, the company knew of an ongoing issue, but told the public the plane was safe. Just months later, another went down and killed more than 340 people. In a statement, Boeing said the settlement fully resolves the matter. Now, I know a little bit about Boeing and 747s because my friends and I bought one for Burning Man. And what was happening with the MAX, Georgia, is they had raised the engines higher and put them on new platforms on the wings because they had to lengthen the fuselage. So when these things were taking off, they were having different modifications to the stall indicators on the planes. And in America, like Southwest and American Airlines, they all bought planes that had 2 sensors for the stall indicators. And in these foreign countries, they were only buying a single stall indicator. So what the pilots were doing were they weren't used to the length of the plane and the engines in the different positions. So they were trying to overcompensate, and they were getting false readings from the plane. It was really sad, obviously, when any life is lost on this. But it just shows you when you have a 737, which had been manufactured for decades.
Yeah.
And even Southwest Airlines, they were only flying 737s. So technically, that should be one of the safest planes out there because you've got one carrier logging all these air miles with it. But when you make changes, and this is that engine pitch change, this is what introduced these problems. So that's a little insight from you that you can only get on What's Next Wall Street.
That's right. Well, on a whole nother subject, sending those Christmas packages is going to cost you more this year. Fedex is hiking its package rates after announcing its first quarter earnings fell short. The shipping company is raising its express ground and home delivery rates by an average of close to 7%. That doesn't seem like that much, but according to how many Christmas packages you have to send, its CEO cited a tough economy and said he expects to enter a worldwide recession to deal with that. Fedex is also cutting costs by reducing flights, vendor use in office locations. Great. I can never find a FedEx anyway. Now I got to go further.
Well, you think there's Kinkos everywhere. I hope, the cost of paper. Or maybe people aren't using paper anymore now that they're working from home.
Right.
But think about like the fuel surcharges as well for flying all those FedEx jets around. But
Sure.
Hey, you can just email me my gift card, Georgia. You don't have to, or just hand it to me in the studio here.
Okay.
And the Federal Reserve isn't the only central bank around the world raising interest rates to fight inflation. The Bank of England just raised rates by 0.5 percentage point. The Swiss National Bank increase came in at 0.75%.
Wow.
Inflation is hitting many countries around the world, and raising rates is designed as a way to fight back on this. The moves around this world follow a recent 0.75% rate hike by the Federal Reserve, which was massive. And the pound hit its first low today, $1.03 to the UK British pound. And this hasn't been seen before since like the greenback, the
Yeah.
first dollar.
We can go to Europe and actually buy stuff and like come out ahead. Not ahead, but at least not behind.
Yeah, when I was there twice this summer, did I mention that?
Yeah, like
It
7
was
times.
it was $1.04. It was crazy. And I thought about, you know how like when you travel, it's like, are you traveling with less than or more than $10,000? I was like, hitting my dad. I'm like, Dad, should we buy some cash and bring some cash back? He's like, yeah, bring $100 back for me. I'm like, come on, Dad. $105 value.
All right.
Whatever.
Okay. So giving might become a trend. And as the only tree hugger here in the studio, I love it. Patagonia's founder is sending all his company's cash earnings to the Holdfast Collective. We heard about that,
Crazy.
an organization that fights climate change. We talked about it, and now the founder of Lululemon is pledging nearly $76 million to wilderness preservation.
Wow.
Chip and Summer Wilson are making their largest donation yet by giving $75.8 million to the Parks Foundation in British Columbia, which is going to be used to acquire wilderness space with the goal of preserving the land. Now, I think this is so super cool. And listen, I don't want to take anything away from what these guys are doing because I think it's amazing. It's commendable. However, these donations are going to save the founders gazillions of dollars in taxes. Chicago's Barry Sy just donated his $1.6 billion business, Trip Light, to a super conservative nonprofit called Marble Freedom, which works to appoint ultra conservative judges to the federal bench. Now, some sources say it's a fake nonprofit used to launder campaign contributions and other money to candidates.
Interesting.
Like we needed sources to tell us something like this is happening when we know it's been happening with politicians.
Since the beginning of time, pretty much.
Yes, every politician, okay? But what is certainly true is that it is the largest single contribution to a politically focused nonprofit like ever. And this is also interesting to me, okay? Because guess what? Side can avoid paying taxes on the sale of his business because it's going to a nonprofit. Amazing, right?
Right.
Billionaires always seem to find a way to opt out of paying taxes. Am I wrong? And more importantly, as a hundredaire, put me on to this opting out of taxes thing. I need the code, okay? First, let me be clear. Patagonia's founder has advocated for increased corporate tax rates to support climate initiatives in the past and even vowed to pay higher corporate tax rates in exchange for stronger climate policies. But still, he's saying, I'll do it if you do this. I'd like to negotiate my tax rate like that too. I mean, how are they able to do this? Greg, put me on if you know how.
Well, everything, first off, we're talking about personal, right? We're not talking about corporate taxes because corporate taxes really aren't going, they do give money away, but it's not profitable currently. What I mean is they can only claim 25% or so of what they give out. Now, personal, you have a person with $1.6 billion, okay? He is going, that's his. He can either give it to a charity or he could pay taxes on it. So it's not like a corporate thing that's not paying taxes. It's a person. I mean, like you said, for whatever reason it's going to, and I'm not going to hit up on what the Marble Freedom or whatever you said or wherever it goes to, but just think of it this way. And this is how I'm going to look at it. Although some of these nonprofits probably don't work like they should, they work better than the United States government does. And you knew I was going to hit the government, didn't you? Is if you can explain to me where trillions of dollars go, then I will say, hey, look, let the government use the money. If you can explain the biggest Ponzi scheme ever invented, known as Social Security, how that's going, then I will let you know. So the government really can't say anything, right? But you can donate more now than ever before. But just understand, it's not like you're getting money or you're cheating the system. You're not like, oh, I donated this and I'm keeping it. If you donate it, it's gone. There are rules against donating to, say, a nonprofit that you get or your family members receive paychecks from and things like that. It's all a little shady, but like you said, if you're a billionaire, you could probably find some loopholes, right? But I'm just going to say most billionaires aren't trying to find a loophole on how to save money like that.
Are you serious? You don't think billionaires are trying to find loopholes? How the heck do you think they became billionaires? They are the loophole.
Exactly. So billionaires, first off, they get audited. So all this, I'm not going to talk about the IRS hiring 80,000 people, but guess what? Every billionaire, every major business Everyone that's made over $10 million gets audited every year. Hands down, they get audited. The people who fail and cheat on taxes and don't pay their taxes aren't the rich people. Now, what they do is they stay within the law. It's not a loophole, and I'll discuss that later. It's always the small business owner or the middle business owner that goes, oh, I can stretch this, or I saw this on TikTok. I can just buy these cars and I can just write them all off. And they cheat. They think they're doing what's right, but they don't have the education. They don't know, and they try to do it on their own and get screwed. The government writes tax code because they want to provide some incentive for you to purchase something that they want you to purchase. For example, if you go purchase an EV car or something like that, you will get a tax deduction, right? Or a write-off. That is so people will go buy more EV cars. If they want you to donate to, say, a charity or something like that, that's because they want you to donate to a charity or whatnot. It's all lobby. Most of it's all about getting votes, but the tax code is written that way. And to go to the nonprofit side, of course, it's going to be all political. It's the same way you have billionaires like George Soros and everybody else that have been funneling billions of dollars to, political campaigns for the last decade. So it's nothing new. It's going to continue. And yes, you can. The difference is billionaires are smart. Okay. That's
and they
how
have really
became
they have really
billionaires,
great lawyers
not because
who are
they
smart.
cheated on the tax. And the rest of us that don't understand taxes are stupid and complain about the billionaires being smarter.
I think he's calling me stupid.
And they might not be smarter, but they can afford someone that is smart, or they took it that way.
There you go.
Yeah. And it goes back to the market.
There was also in the last few years been a handful of C corporations, which is typically if you have a company, it's a C corp, that have gone to a B corp. And in the tech space, I think was it at&t or one of those groups that made those changes. Is that a trend that's different though, because now you're a for good corporation? Is that what a B Corp is?
Well, you got your B Corp or your B, I guess you could say like they're looking at B Corps, B Lab, whatever you want to call them, in a way. So it's just a higher standard of a corporation. It's supposed to be like this transparent corporation. I don't really know how to play it, but it's transparency, or it's transparent on its accounting way. So it's really open on employee benefits, on employment pays, on the charitable giving, and they make that available, right? So the really only difference between most corporations is, there's a bunch of differences, like how many people can be a part of it, can they be American citizen or not? But most of it is all about their tax, right? Because you're a business and you can file however you want to, but you can have an S corp or this. It's all about the taxes in the end. And in the end, normally how the tax code is, you can postpone it, but sooner or later, taxes are going to get you. So B Corps have been a trend because of that transparency.
But that's not tax less.
Big issue on employees, benefits and charitable constitution.
So do they get tax breaks because they are so transparent?
I don't think they get any different tax breaks. It's a corporation. So no real corporation is going to get major tax breaks. And I would actually have to look at that because I don't do B Corps taxes or anything like that. So I would say no federal tax breaks. There's no difference. Okay. Now, for example, a corporation is actually completely taxed beyond what everybody thinks, right? So taxes are this thing that everybody has an opinion, but they have no idea what they're talking about. So I would say 99% of Americans know more about heart surgery than they do tax code. Okay. It's serious. Really, you do. So the problem is, but everybody has an opinion. Everybody can talk about it. But a corporation, this is what happens. I make money. However, I pay that, say an income. I pay tax on that income. So the first $100,000 I make, whatever, I pay $25,000 in taxes. That's put aside. Now I only have $75,000 left. I invest that into a company. That company makes $50,000. Now that I have to pay taxes on that $50,000 that that company pays, corporate tax, right? And this is why corporate tax is cheaper, say 20%. And then if I own that, so if I want to take any money out of that and pay myself, right, as a distribution or sell a stocks, I now have to pay tax on it again. So I didn't get taxed just once or twice. I got taxed when I made the money. Then I got taxed when the company had to pay taxes on it. And then when I sold my stocks, I had to pay taxes again. So everybody that goes, well, corporations, you got to understand, corporations might be an entity, but they didn't just come out of thin air. Someone made money, which they pay taxes on, put it into investment, which continually pay taxes. And then in the end, they'll still have to pay taxes later, unless they give it to their favorite political party.
There it is.
There's the loophole.
And now we're full circle.
Okay.
Thanks, Greg. Hey, Georgia,
Yeah.
what if you could get someone else to do your work for you, like a robot?
I would love it, I guess.
Well, don't laugh about this, because over my shoulder here, for those of you watching, Optimus is Tesla's human-like robot.
Oh, no, thank you.
And it's here. Elon Musk mentioned the robot last year on AI Day. What'd you get me for AI Day?
Nothing.
I don't even know when that is.
AI, I don't know.
He said the robot would be friendly, which is kind of Isaac Asimov's first rule, and help people avoid physical labor, like getting groceries. Now, if it was a race, Tesla would come in second to a Chinese company called Xiaomi, which is like in Miyagi.
Is that like Zahomi? Zahomi made the robot first?
And they debuted their first robot called Cyber One in August. Cyber One is a voice recognition system and can identify human emotion and even comfort someone when they're sad.
Really?
Now, have the bigwigs of these companies never seen Terminator or the movie iRobot?
Did you see iRobot? They can tell emotions. Are you serious?
Yeah, not creepy at all.
That's so creepy. Okay, let's talk about it. When I found out about a good thing, I tell everybody, whether it's a stock tip, a mommy tip, a wifey tip, or a health tip. That's why I got introduced y'all to SmileBrilliant. I found out a lot later than I should have that I grind my teeth at night. So, okay, no big deal, right? Except that it's actually a huge deal, so huge in fact, that there's a medical term for it. It's called bruxism, and 1 in 5 people suffer from it. And the most common cause is stress. So yeah, a lot of people are dealing with that right now. You might clench your teeth during the day or grind your teeth at night. Both are bad. This condition can cause cracked and chipped teeth, which can cause major tooth sensitivity, worn down tooth enamel. And once your enamel is gone, it's just like those eyebrows I plucked in 9th grade. It ain't growing back. So you can say hello to thousands of dollars in veneers or worse, implants. That's money I could put to good use in the stock market. SmileBrilliant has saved my money and my smile. The dentist will charge you up to $600 for a night guard. A custom night guard from SmileBrilliant is as low as $45, with reorders as low as $25. It's so simple because a digital file uses your dental impressions and it's kept on file, making reorders hassle-free. Do yourself a favor and stop ruining your teeth. Visit SmileBrilliant.com and use discount code WNWS for 20% off. SmileBrilliant also has custom fitted teeth whitening trays, whitening gel, electric toothbrushes, water flossers, and much more. Go to SmileBrilliant.com and use discount code WNWS for 20% off today.
Hey, today's pro tip by OptionsPlayers.com is know your opportunities.
Okay.
There are a few guarantees in life, but one you can bank on is a government-issued bond, and we have just the one for you to consider. The U.S. government as in EYE, bonds, they offer you 10% guaranteed for up to 10 grand investments, so that's an easy grand in your pocket with virtually zero risk. So check it out if you're interested in some easy, risk-free gains.
I like it. All right, so this is the part of the show where we get to hear from y'all. You can always hit us up on social media at What's Next Wall Street. Of course, you can comment on our YouTube page or you can email us at What's Next Wall Street. Let me get to this email here real quick. This first email comes from Stephen M. on the Options Players trading platform who has a question for Dave. Okay, Stephen says, What are your thoughts on ANKRX? What is that? I don't know what that is. ANKRX? Does it really have any legitimate competition? I think it's a great company with lots of potential, and I've been slowly adding to my position, and I'm not really finding anyone else growing and as well built as Anchor in terms of Web3. Is it Anchor?
Yeah.
Dave, what do you have for Stephen? And first off, explain to me what this is.
All right, so what I call all these is crap coins. And crap coins mean they're not Ethereum, they're not Bitcoin, and there's a whole slew of coins that just popped up out of nowhere that people are clamoring to because they want us to have the same multi-level marketing Ponzi scheme, which, remember, Elon Musk on Saturday Night Live said this is all hustle on his show debut there. So what I do with any of these coins, and I can't speak specifically for this coin because I don't trade it, I don't hold it, but what I do is I look for coins that have people that have been on the founding team of like coins that have had some success. So think about the original Litecoin deployment or Ethereum as well. So if you follow teams, those teams, they have lessons learned. And if you think like the age of the elder or knowing what your elders have taught you, that isn't really happening with blockchain bros yet because they're still in their 20s or something.
That's right. They don't listen to anybody.
Exactly. But if you're saying like, oh, these guys figured out how, and think about it, proof of work used to be running the CPU, and Ethereum switched from that this past month to go proof of work to proof of stake. So there was lots of lessons learned on what it means to mine coins, which have a finite volume, the math gets harder, the power gets more increased, or hold coins, which means Georgia and I trust in Ethereum, so she's got that, I've got that, and the more we bank or hold within our wallets, the greater that coin is. So as a trend, I'd be looking for proof of stake coins versus proof of work, and also trying to see, has this team done something clever? And I think one of the things that Web 1.0 really wanted to do was micropayments, and there were tons of micropayment apps on there. Do you remember Whoopi Goldberg, Georgia, back when we did the last show in the 90s? She had a coin. Do you remember what the name of the coin was?
I was going to say Whoopi Goldberg from The View. I remember her from like watching her today, but you mean from,
Yeah, she was a sponsor, or she was like the mouth, the face of a coin called Flues. And the Flues coin, can you imagine if Flues took over the world?
Wow.
But it didn't. Instead, PayPal took over the world.
That's right.
And because of PayPal, we now have Elon Musk building robots for your house, building cars, building Starlink satellites, building SpaceX. And then we have all the other PayPal mafia, which has done amazing things as well. Like, look at what Peter Thiel is doing for investments. So there's a perfect example. Flues went nowhere. PayPal is literally everywhere in our lives now.
Yeah.
So that's why I say follow the team.
Okay, do your homework. All right, this next email is for you.
Bob B. from Options Players Trading Community asks, what stock market sayings are still true today, and what are the phrases of the past? For example, the trend is your friend. Sell in May and go away. Buy in the rumor and sell the news. My dad tells me that one all the time. But how are you going to get the rumors unless you're walking around with the tech Wall Street bros? So, Hey, Greg, you have any sayings that your dad used to give to you?
I follow the trends. I hope that's still one.
Not that are appropriate for what's next Wall Street. But yeah, I mean, I am a fan of, the trend is your friend, but, I'm a momentum trader. But, and essentially what that means is, the easiest way, that phrase is true until it's not, like most things, right? So you basically keep buying as it appears to going up. And then when, start selling when it starts to go down. And there's multiple ways you can find a trend. It doesn't even have to be a moving average or just a connected dot line. It could be a trend in the RSI or whatever, past historical performance. I think one of the biggest mistakes people really make here is they fail to recognize that markets operate on news, which is also, buy the rumor, sell the news. So the market is completely unpredictable also. So just because it's going up on a trend doesn't mean it's going to reverse. So you have to have a plan on getting out no matter what, even if it doesn't hit your goal, when's your exit. Don't be that person that has opium, right? That's a little bit of hope / with some opium. You inject yourself and you think it's going to continue to go your way and it never does. But I think one of the biggest sayings when I think about it. I know these are kind of cool sayings, like say, sell in May and go away. I got that one.
What does that mean?
Most
Does
people
that mean
don't
like
to
the
invest. Everybody's
market?
out at the Hampkins.
Hold
What was
on.
that?
Talk about that a little bit.
Sell in May, go away. Why
Is
in
that
May?
because
Yeah, so
usually August is the vacation month for traders.
Yeah, so think about it like this. All right, Congress is where during the summer?
Oh yeah,
They're on break.
Yeah.
Right? Everybody's at the Hamptons, right? These are rich people. So all the people that are making stuff are just out chilling, right? Because all in New York and stuff, they can actually go hang out at the beach now because it's warm enough, I guess. So there's not a lot of volatility. And since there's not a lot of volatility, it kind of stays flat. You need volume for usually prices to go up. So that's why everybody used to say, sell in May, come back a little later. All right. It's also the weakest time besides a few travel and things like that. It's the worst time to do anything, So buy the rumor, sell the news. I don't know really how to explain it better than Elon Musk. Let's just keep it right there. When Elon Musk is starting, he's going to do this with Dogecoin, everybody's buying it, and it gets up to like 80 cents. I'm like, I don't know why everybody's buying this, sell this thing, because everybody thought there was going to be like all these crypto commercials, and they were, right? Well, we sold it, and then it just went right back to nothing, right? And that kind of happens to go away. But I would say for me, for myself, the most famous to me, it might not be so cliche, would be something that like Sir John Templeton said about what the 4 most dangerous words in investing.
Boats.
You know what those are?
Hold on, I know this. Boats, planes, sports. No, is that
snakes on a plane? No. This time it's different, right? A lot of people like to say, hey, this time it's going to be different, but this time it's different. Those 4 words. And basically everybody tries to say interpret what this quote would mean, but really I look at it as ignoring history at your own peril, right? If this happened over and over and over and over, but this time you're going to be like, well, we're not going to have a recession because, we're going to change the definition of recession,
right.
Or we're not going to have a recession because this is based upon a supply issue. Like we've never had supply issues before. So essentially it's basically telling you, ignore history at your own peril. I think that's probably one of the biggest. And this also, one of the more interpretations for this was the market consistently over time goes up. So when he was talking about it, he was discussing a bunch of individuals that were trying to, try to find the very bottom of the market and to short it. And he was kind of quoting that, hey, everybody knows over time the market goes up due to inflation or something like that. So, everybody says, hey, this time it's different.
Yeah.
My broker, last week, my broker said to me, he goes, yeah, the market's trying to find a new low. I'm like, that's not good for our holdings. Hey, if you've got a question, hit us up on social media at What's Next Wall Street, or drop a note in the comments section of our YouTube page, or you can email us at www.OptionsPlayers.com with your questions. Hey, Georgia, remember that summer I went to Europe twice? I disappeared for a few days in Berlin and spent like a week off the Amalfi Coast of Italy.
You mean this summer, Dave?
Oh, that's right.
You left me here like holding the pieces, like what?
I was having a little moment. We got a picture of that. Look at this.
My gosh, what is this? That is so much fun.
So, do you recognize that mountain in the background?
I do not.
That's
Where
a
is this?
scene from The Talented Mr. Ripley.
With Matt Damon.
That
was an awesome movie.
Yeah.
Yes, that's so fun.
That's so nice.
Oh my gosh.
Me and my buddies on the beaches of the Amalfi Coast.
Oh my gosh, I'm so jealous.
That's a little town called Ischia. Don't
so
ask me
fun.
how to spell it. Hey, by the way, you and Greg held down the fort very well with the program. I actually enjoyed listening to you guys on the beaches of the Italian coast.
See? Okay.
But I digress. So in the U.S., I use a prepaid at&t wireless plan because I get now 16 gigabyte of data per month roaming in Mexico, which sounds great for a vacation for this fall.
I'm sure.
Oh, and free calls in Canada too. now that they've opened up for their COVID restrictions, maybe I should go there skiing for New Year's.
What the heck is this? Your vacation segment?
Interesting. That's a good idea. I should make this my vacation segment.
I know, right?
Anyway, I digress again.
Yes.
That AT&T plan that I get is $300 for the year.
Wow.
You probably pay $300 a month for your
I don't even want to talk about it. It's like 5. I got 1 million kids.
Right? So it gives coverage all over the U.S. and a lot of roaming for northern and southern North America. But
Okay.
when I was in Europe, I used an eSIM, which is what you're going to need to be comfortable with in the future because the iPhone 14 in the USA is only going to use that.
Wait, what SIM who?
Okay, look at the SIMs on the desk here.
Okay.
The SIM, which is about the thickness of your thumbprint,
Okay.
it's a subscriber identity module, or it's a number that tells your expensive carrier whose phone is talking to the network.
Okay.
And since the iPhone XS, Apple has had the ability for you to scan a QR code. Wow, this code never had a better set of years than through the COVID pandemic, right?
Okay.
And you can scan the QR code to add coverage to your phone in the country or roaming countries that you need. Now, I used the service from Airalo, which for me worked best because on my first summer trip to Europe, I was in Germany, Poland, and Lithuania, and I needed a roaming package, and they called that Eurolink.
Okay.
And it works in 39 countries. Wow. It gave me 5 gig for only $20,
That's insane.
right? And it's for the whole month, right?
Yeah.
So with your carrier, you're probably looking at $20 per day for roaming.
Exactly.
Now, Airalo was a data-only SIM, but that's fine. You can use voice over IP or use your standard number to make calls with WhatsApp or FaceTime extremely easily.
Okay.
Now, for my second trip to Europe, did I mention I did 2 trips? That was just Italy. And I got the Mamma Mia plan, and that was for only $10, so half as much. And it gave me 5 gig, and it worked throughout Italy only. Now,
Okay.
since I didn't have any connections through London or Germany, this was perfect. But if you do, most of those airports have free Wi-Fi.
Right.
So you can still get a local destination SIM like Italy and not worry about roaming through London because you're going to use the Wi-Fi anyway.
Yeah.
Now, I've got a code to share with you if you want to get the service that'll give us both $5.
For real?
Yep.
Okay.
When you can sign up, enter the code DAVID, which is my government name, David 3036. And by the way, 30 is the age that I look, and 36 is my real age.
Okay. Right. Gadget guys. Should we buy the iPhone 14? Should I buy the iPhone 14?
What do you have now?
I have the 12. I have the
Okay.
12.
All right.
Which I like.
So yes and no.
Okay.
If you've
talk
got
to
a
me.
Pro model and the Pro has 3 cameras, probably not.
I don't.
With the iPhone 14 Pro, you get the latest camera sensor, which is 48 megapixel model versus their old 12 megapixel version, and the latest A16 CPU too for just over $1,000. Now that camera has 4 times the resolution of the old iPhones. Let me see that.
Okay, so I've got
That's
like
the
2 little
camera, yeah.
cameras.
So yours isn't the Pro, so maybe you should upgrade.
Okay.
So by the way, did you know the iPhone 6S was the last time that sensor was updated? That was like
Really?
in 2011
All this money I'm
or
paying for this
12 or something.
phone?
Well, a lot of processing around those phones and the lenses were updated to give you greater shots, but still, way to go on getting your money's worth out of just 12 megapixels, Apple. Okay, back to the upgrade or not.
Okay.
If you want the $800 version of the iPhone, that still uses last year's CPU.
Okay.
And in my mind, it doesn't give you the great advancements that you'd care about from iPhones going back to the iPhone 11.
All right.
So if you're rocking a 12 or 13, you're probably fine where you are.
All right.
Now, all the new phones have the ability to talk to satellites with Qualcomm's technology for emergency messages, but that's not quite working yet. So I'll cover that on a future version of the show when it works, and maybe we can get into the stock price of Qualcomm.
Okay, great. Thanks for saving me money, Gadget Guy. And quit leaving me here in hot Texas while you swim with the sharks on the beach. What the heck?
Oh, that's funny. But hey, when it comes to upgrading your phone, remember, you're using your phone every day, and the best thing you can do is either spend your cool grand of hard-earned money outright and get on a payment plan that does not involve your carrier. You can get a payment plan through Apple or through stores like Best Buy as well. And then you can go prepaid on networks like Visible, which uses Verizon, or AT&T's yearly prepaid plan of 16 gig, which is, again, what I use. Now, I got to start planning that winter ski trip.
Oh my gosh, shut your mouth. What the heck? Okay, Dave. This was a Cinderella story. Before he became the creative, musical, and fashion genius
Oh, Yeezy.
that we all know. Yes, before Yeezys were a household name, before Kim Kardashian became a household name for that sex tape, there was Kanye West, a kid growing up in Chi-Town, working at, of all places, the Gap.
That's how he got his clothing forward,
Okay,
right?
so fast forward to 2020, and the Kanye Gap Collabo was so hot, you literally had to wait months to get your hands on some of the products, and some sold out so fast you couldn't get your hands on them at all. I am talking within hours. So Kanye's deal was worth over $900 million, and he was also poised to get millions more if shares of that line hit certain goals. And since Gap shares saw a surge of like 40%, I'd say Kanye definitely reached those goals. So Yeezy Gap products recorded the most sales in one day for any Gap product ever, like in life. So there was so much promise. Where did it all go wrong? And how has this affected Gap and its bottom line? So here's the story. Kanye claims the company failed to release his clothing as promised and wouldn't open retail stores designed specifically to promote his Yeezy merchandise. Kanye also says he was cut out of meetings and didn't have creative freedom. So that deal is done. So the remaining Kanye inventory or Yeezy inventory will be sold at Gap stores, but that's it. Kanye is also firing shots at Adidas for allegedly ripping off his shoe designs, and he may end all his partnerships and open his own stores, which honestly, he should have done that in the first place. So how is all this affecting the Gap? Well, they're eliminating 500 corporate jobs because the company is struggling with low sales. They're blaming it on Old Navy, but shares fell sharply after news of the Kanye breakup. So is the Gap done? I mean, I like the Gap and I like Kanye, so I hate to take sides. However, we got to say the Gap only released 2 products in the first 18 months of the partnership, and those were online. So I just feel like they did, I mean, everything he's saying, 2 products in 18 months, and I got one of them, and it took me like 4 months. And I've never seen anybody else on the street in one of those puffer jackets. But I was like, okay, we're going to get this jacket for my baby birthday. Mom's going to be the win. Okay, mom's going to be the winner. I'm going to be the best mom, best parent. And of course I was. But what I want to know, Greg, is can Gap recover? Am I the only person still shopping there?
Yes, you are. And I don't know if most retail companies have already had this issue of, trying to buy up everybody and then become this one thing and try to work. Kind of Gap try to spin off Old Navy, its value one. And I think it really comes down. I think Gap is, I don't know all the stores. No, Banana Republic,
Yes.
Gap, Old Navy.
Yeah.
Any other ones I'm missing?
So there's a couple more, but anyway.
Yeah, Old Navy, you're going to see it a lot of times. You'll see Old Navy in the thrift little strip malls now, and of course near malls, and then Gap and Banana Republic. And I don't really know exactly how they're going to maintain it. I'm not a clothes expert. I just know retail is being hit hard. They have nothing coming out that does online shopping that I know of, like for example, like AI that's taking photos and dressing you. I've never heard of them any news come out saying they were going to do that. And then you have to look at the behemoths that are even having issues, right? So who is Gap and Banana Republic? Number one, Americans are only getting bigger, as you can see. And I, although used to be able to fit in Gap jeans, don't own any Gap jeans. Although one of my favorite pairs ever were Gap jeans. It's just, I never thought, let me go buy some Gap jeans. I never said, let me go buy some Banana Republic this. It's just, it's kind of in between the, let me go get some Old Navy pants and then let me go get something that's designer.
First off, Greg, let's just go ahead and break it down, everybody, about you with shopping. We know you're shopping at Buc-ee's. Okay, that's number one.
Yeah, okay.
So let's just go ahead and keep it real. Banana Republic is kind of their more, we have to keep it real. But Banana Republic is kind of more their pricey, their pricey store. And I have to say, I haven't really shopped there, but I will tell you, when I need something for my kids, the first place I go is the Gap. Like summer, that's the first, I'm online like, okay, let me spend it. I already know $300 at Gap in April because I got to get their summer shorts. I got to get all their summer stuff. And even for school, like they wear a uniform, but I got to get their socks and their underwear and their undershirts. So when I need something quick for my kids, I'm going to the Gap. Now I know that's just me.
Well, you're going to the Gap. Everybody else is going to one of 2 stores.
Walmart or Target.
For socks, Walmart or Target.
Or Buc-ee's.
Right? I am not going to the Gap to get socks.
I know they're really expensive. They're like 2 for like $20. It's ridiculous, actually.
I mean, I got you. But that's the thing is, it's in a mall. everybody wants something right now. For example, when I was a young Padawan, I guess you could say, we used to hang out at roller skates on the weekend, and the rest of the days we were at the mall.
Yeah.
And you all were probably at bowling alleys and the drive-ins, right?
What the hell? I don't know. How old do you think we are?
But have you been to a mall on a night now? People just aren't hanging out there anymore. It's not the go-to spot. I don't know where kids are at. They're probably at home playing Fortnite.
That's right. Video games.
But
they don't leave the house.
Yeah. What's up?
Yeah, they're not leaving the house. It's
However, let's just say this. We are in an area, Frisco, Dallas. You can't find a park at the Frisco Mall, at Stonebriar Mall. Go to North Park, and it's worse. On the weekends, and I think
you
maybe
mean
it's
parking spot.
Yeah, a parking spot.
Yeah, I
it's
was
just
trying to figure that one.
So there. I
I
think
don't
it's according to
think
what you
parking
want.
is that bad at Grants. I don't think it's that bad in Dallas.
Okay.
Right? I mean, I know it's busy there and it's all crazy, but even remember like I said, when we were younger, on a Friday night,
you were at the mall.
You'd be parking in the overflow just to get there, to get
That's
into
true.
to the mall. Now you might be 30 deep, but there's parking spaces.
No, that's true.
know?
So you think the Gap is on its way out?
Yeah, like I said, come on. When you started putting stores in the thrift area, that's a bad sign. And like I said, Gap is not, or Banana Republic to me. I actually own some Banana Republic jackets, but it's not top and it's not value, kind of like Old Navy. It's kind of in the middle, and people buy it and they don't. I don't want to blow up someone. It's like owning a Coach purse. Right?
Oh,
it's a Coach
yeah.
purse.
Don't touch George on our coaches. Hey, I just noticed for those of you watching,
it's not a Louis, right? It's not a Louis, but then it's
Swap me
also
Louis
not,
is what Georgia has.
the cheaper purse from somewhere else. It's just that middle. It's a good purse, costs a little bit. Nobody's running around trying to snag up Coach purses. They opened up. What happened? Coach started going to Coach outlets, right?
Yeah.
Started showing
And
up at all the
screwed 'em.
outlet strip malls.
Yeah.
And now you could buy Coach, and probably next year you'll be able to buy Coach in Walmart. That's a joke, but that's essentially what's happening.
Hey, I noticed for those of you watching on YouTube, you might have seen a little critter go inside the door.
We did.
Is that a Coach collar? Did I see on
I
that
think so.
dog?
I think so. Your little baby came in there to pay you a visit. For y'all who watch the show, a lot of times Greg brings his baby into the studio, and his baby takes up all the room, doesn't care who's trying to get around her. She just is like,
Knocks
what?
over teleprompter,
Knocks over
guys,
teleprompters,
teleprompter.
cameras, does not care at all. And I see she's doing the same thing right now at your home office, but it's fun to see her. Thanks, Greg. If you got a question for Greg or you want to get at me or Dave, email us at www.optionsplayers.com. Hit us up on social media at What's Next Wall Street, or comment on the Options Players YouTube page. We always reply. And you know what? I disagree with him about Gap. Is he already gone? He's wrong.
Well, you can, of course, watch episodes of our Smiling Faces on our OptionsPlayers.com YouTube page, or listen on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you get your podcast. Make sure you subscribe, hit those alert buttons, and you'll get current info that's trending as soon as it drops. I'm Dave Mathews, and I'm wearing an exploded iPhone 6S, the best phone before the latest.
It's true. It's true. I think my husband's dad still has an iPhone 6 because that was the best one. I'm Georgia Alfredas. We will see you next time on What's Next Wall Street.